Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome if you're new. Today's video, I want to talk all about my first trimester in my pregnancy and just talk about the things that happened, symptoms I've had, and even talk about how it may have differed from my pregnancy with Benjamins. Before we get started, make sure you are subscribed to my channel and that you also like this video and leave a comment down below. I would love to hear from you. Let's get started with the video. So currently, the day that I am filming this video, I'm actually 15 weeks and 2 days pregnant, I believe. And I just can't believe that I'm already in the second trimester. Like, where did the time go? I feel like I was, 6-7 weeks just like the other day. And yeah, if you saw my last video, then you know that I talked about how I wasn't really feeling any symptoms. When I took a test, it was more of like just a cautionary thing. I took a test on the weekend on Saturday night, and so I couldn't really do anything as far as calling up my doctor or anything like that until the week started. So on Monday, which was also mine and Matt's anniversary, I called up to my doctor and they had me come in to get my blood drawn. They always have me get my blood drawn because of my past experiences. They don't really care about, the pregnancy test itself. They want to know what my numbers are and all of that. So I got my blood drawn on that Monday. I ended up going kind of later in the day because since it was mine and Matt's anniversary, I had to actually drive in the opposite direction to my in-laws' house because they were going to watch Benjamin so that me and Matt could go out on a date later that evening. So I had to bring Benjamin one direction and then come home, and I basically ate lunch and then left right away to go in the opposite direction and go get my blood drawn. So by the time I got my blood drawn, they basically were like, they already picked up all the blood for the day, so I wouldn't get my results until the next day. I just had to wait and wait and wait, but obviously I had to go pick Benjamin up, so back in the other direction and all of that. And it was more like, I feel it was like 30 minutes to an hour before they were going to close for the day. And I was like, I haven't heard from them. So I ended up having to call them, and then they had to call me back, and I finally got my results. So my titer was 75 and my progesterone level was 8.4. They basically wanted me to come back in a week to get my blood drawn and make sure that my titer had gone up. But in the meantime, they went ahead and called in a prescription for progesterone to get me started on that. So I actually got that called in, and then the next day, my husband was going to be in town because he works in the office once a week. So it happened to be the day that he was going to be working at the office. So he picked up my prescription for me. And yeah, I started progesterone on that Wednesday. I was told by my doctor that I would need to be on this progesterone supplement until I was 12 weeks pregnant. And then that's when I could stop taking the progesterone. But until then, I needed to take it every night before I went to bed. So after I had started taking the progesterone, and before I went back to get my blood drawn, the next week, that's when I started to feel symptoms. My boobs started to hurt. My acne started to get really bad on my face. I always have acne, but it got really bad. And I also started to be really tired. The next Monday, like I said, I needed to get my blood drawn a week later from when I got it drawn the first time, and it came and I got my results, and my titer had gone up to 1,662. So that was great. My number definitely went up. And so they said everything was good, and they scheduled me to come in for an ultrasound. They wanted to do an ultrasound to just kind of see, you know, how far along I was and everything. Just from like past stuff. They didn't want to just go off of my last period. They wanted to actually see the baby and all of that. So we got that scheduled. In between this point and my ultrasound, that is when the nausea started. I was so sick. It was so bad. When I was pregnant with Benjamin, it would be like, I definitely had nausea with Benjamin, but with him, it was more like I would wake up in the morning and like I would need to eat something right away. If I didn't, I'd feel sick. But as long as I was like eating as soon as I woke up and then not waiting too long to eat before lunch, like I was pretty good. You know, I didn't really have that much trouble. It was just more like snacking and stuff. But this time, it was like sick all day long. I could eat stuff and I would still feel sick. And it was like that balance of like, I feel like I want to throw up because I need food. But then you would eat food and then you felt bloated. So you feel like you wanted to throw up then. And I just was sick all the time. And I didn't feel good. And I was just like laying on the couch a lot. Because I honestly couldn't do anything. I would try to cook supper for my family, and in the middle of it would just have to lay down on the ground in front of the stove. I was still trying to, you know, cook for my family, but honestly, we would eat a lot of probably bad stuff for you because that is all that I could handle. And obviously, Matt is working his normal job, and then he's also trying to build a house and everything. So yeah, I was trying to help, but I tried my best. At this point, my ultrasound and like my appointment came around, and I was so excited to finally be able to see my baby up on the screen. I saw the heartbeat. I did not hear it because I learned that they don't let you listen to the heartbeat in the first trimester anymore because of like that extra layer and everything. But I definitely could see it, which was huge for me because all of the pregnancies where I had miscarriages in the past, it was always this first appointment that I would go to and there would be no heartbeat, and they would just tell me it's just too early, you'll have to come back in 2 weeks, you know, we should see a heartbeat then. And then that's always when there would never be a heartbeat. So the fact that there was a heartbeat on this day was huge. It was so reassuring, and it made both me and Matt feel so happy and grateful that there was a heartbeat because everything was looking so good. In this appointment that I had, I also asked my doctor for nausea medicine. This appointment was so hard. I literally was sitting there in the office with my mask off because I was going to throw up. And as soon as my doctor walked in the door, I'm like scrambling and trying to put my mask back on. And he's like, no, you don't have to put that on. He's like, just don't worry about it. And he's like, how are you feeling? I was like, I'm trying not to throw up. And he's like, well, don't try not to. If you have to, there's a trash can right over there. So, I don't know. But I asked him for nausea medicine, and he ended up giving me a prescription. I honestly don't even remember what it was. I basically took 1 dose of that medication the next day, and it didn't work. It made things worse. I literally couldn't keep my eyes open. Like, I was driving, I think, to the grocery store or something. That's the whole reason why I took the medicine, because I was like, I need to go grocery shopping and I don't want to throw up in the store. So I took some medicine about, I'd say like an hour before I was supposed to leave to go to the grocery store. And I was like falling asleep driving, which was not good. And it didn't even help. I still felt so sick. So I basically never took that medicine again. And I just tried to figure out other ways to not feel so sick. So the medicine didn't work for me. So while I was at that last appointment, they actually scheduled me to come back in 2 weeks later to do another ultrasound just to make sure that the baby was growing and all of that stuff. So I went back again in 2 weeks to this appointment and everything looked great in my ultrasound, and I officially got my due date during this visit. So the baby will be here at the end of February. Also, at this ultrasound that I got, I wanted to make sure that I paid attention to how fast the heart rate was, because I wanted to keep track of that and compare it to the old wives' tales and see if it was right or not. And the heartbeat was 170 at this ultrasound appointment. So during this appointment, my doctor, basically every time I saw him, it was always such a turnaround from in the past, because every single time that he would see me, he would talk about how everything is amazing and everything is great. And those are the words that he would use and everything. And basically he was saying that everything was so great. The pregnancy is growing normal and it was just good. I didn't have to come back in 2 weeks like I had been. I could actually wait until the 4 weeks and come back when I was 12 weeks pregnant. So that is what I did. I scheduled an appointment for 12 weeks and I got another ultrasound done. I get ultrasounds so often because of my past. The doctor just wants to make sure that everything is going correctly and that we are just, you know, on top of things and making sure that everything is great. So yeah, that is why I get so many ultrasounds. So at my 12-week appointment, I got another ultrasound and that went really good as well. The heartbeat was 153 at this appointment. My doctor told me I could quit taking the progesterone because in the appointment they saw the placenta attached and all of that stuff. Quitting my progesterone made me really anxious because just, you know, remembering my miscarriages and all of that stuff. Every time I would quit taking my progesterone, that's when I would start bleeding. So I was really anxious during this point, but my doctor explained to me the reasons why I shouldn't be nervous. So I just trusted him. He said to stop taking it and everything has been good since then. Like, I haven't had any bleeding, so I'm very thankful that everything went as planned. So I go back again mid-September. I will be getting another ultrasound done to make sure that the baby is growing at the correct rate and that everything is good. I will be 16 weeks at this appointment that I go to, and yeah, like I said earlier in my video, my nausea this time around is way worse than it was with Benjamin, and I do feel like it eased up some, but I don't even remember when it ended. I guess it would be end of my first trimester. I'm not really sure, but it was somewhere around there. I guess I kind of blocked that out or something. But it's definitely better than it has been, but I do still get sick. Even though I'm, you know, 15 weeks pregnant, I still get sick. If I'm, you know, trying to get Benjamin ready for school and like say we have to leave in 10 minutes and I'm like, oh no, I better eat something, otherwise I'm gonna feel sick in the car, and I try to eat something really fast, then chances are I'm going to puke. That's happened multiple times where I eat something really fast and then I'm like putting Benjamin in the car, and before I can get in, I have to like throw up in the yard. Or I'll be trying to brush my teeth, which brushing my teeth is terrible. Like, I cannot brush my teeth without gagging. And I think this whole pregnancy I've thrown up probably about 5 times, and like 3 of those times was because I was brushing my teeth. I don't know what it is, but I have to be really, really careful, and I can't brush them like too early in the morning. I have to wait a little bit. Yeah, it's bad. The really bad nauseousness definitely has gone away now that I'm in my 2nd trimester, but I do sometimes throw up still. So that's not fun. And the last thing that I want to talk about in this whole first trimester like recap type of thing is I just want to talk about how with Benjamin, I was so on top of things. I would take a picture every single week from like, I think my very first picture was at like 7 or 8 weeks or something like that. And at this point, we already had a name like almost finalized because we had a gender reveal party and it was around 20 weeks. And that's when we announced to everybody that he was a boy and that his name was Benjamin. And yeah, at this point, this pregnancy, we haven't even talked about names really. I mean, we brought it up and we're just like, yeah, I don't know. I haven't really thought about it yet. That's like the extent of that. And then as far as pictures go, I think I've taken 3 or 4 pictures, you know, like my official like bump, you know, weekly pictures. Yeah, I need to be better. I'm probably going to get Matt to take a picture as soon as I'm done filming this because it's on my mind. And so before I end the video, I just wanted to show y'all my 16-week bump. So here it is. Okay, so that was my bump, and that's basically everything for this video. So I really hope that you enjoyed watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video and comment down below as well. I will see you next time. Bye, guys.